The well, it's not. So like I harken it back to like the solar flare type decks, where like they have these Sun Titans. If they mill them with Forbidden Alchemy, sweet.
Right.
But if not, we'll just hard cast them, and then when they die, Umbrella Rights makes 2 more copies of them.
And maybe that's where where this deck goes next. Maybe there's some kind of room for more of a solar flare where you're milling cards with Forbidden Alchemy and milling the Angels with Forbidden Alchemy and getting.
And that's what the Mulch and Grizzly Salvage
right,
do.
Exactly. In this particular thing. So maybe there's actually a blue version of. Which would be very Solar Flare-esque. And the Solar Flare decks it was interesting because they were very popular and strong, pretty strong in the early part of last season. This time last year when Innistrad first came out and we had Unburial Rights access. And then they kind of got popular near the end when it was 4-color Solar Flare with Thragtusk. And now these Solar Flare-esque decks here in the beginning of Return to Ravnica Standard. So Dan Jordan leads with a turn 1 Deathrite Shaman, and Marc Blesso has an Arbor Elf.
So one thing I've been talking to Dan, he's commented that his mana's a little bit shaky, and that he wished he had some Evolving Wilds in his deck. So
and that would have been great with the Deathrite Shaman.
Yes.
He only plays 1 main deck, right? Yeah,
yes.
And that's that. That's that one.
And if he can draw a black mana source here, Dan can use his black mana source to take the Lingering Souls out of Marc's graveyard and deal 2, but it doesn't look. Looks like we're digging, and fortunately for Dan, unfortunately for Marc,
Dan finds
two black mana sources and is going to take the Lingering Souls out of Marc's graveyard and, for fun, deal 2 damage. Yeah, Marc lose 2 life.
Just a little bonus there. So nice little interaction, and not only that, but Dan just dropped an Angel into the graveyard, which
it's also one of his stronger plays.
There's the Deathrite Shaman. Can exile a land to add a color, add any color of mana. Black.
Oh wow! Huge play from Marc. Turn 3, Garruk Relentless. Fight the Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, well, Dan did get some value out of the Shaman before it went to the yard.
One thing I've seen Dan draw, he has 1 main deck Centaur Healer. I feel like he's drawn it every game I've seen him on camera. He's drawn quite a few Centaur Healers. It's not particularly good this game against the Garruk Relentless. Like Dan has quite a few options. He has at least 1 land. It's an Overgrown Tomb.
Yeah, he got it off that mulch.
Dan's trying to decide if he wants to play Centaur Healer. It looks like he has a Lingering Souls that is going to be his play.
In the Legacy Open, seatings for the player meeting have been posted. Please find your seats.
So back on Marc. Marc has just a ton of fantastic options. He has a Garruk going. He has his hand doesn't seem super loaded. It seems like he has 2 lands in Absence Pilgrim, 3 lands. Make that 3 lands and some other card.
Yeah, I couldn't see. Alright, so...
Thragtusk, perfect.
Oh, is that other card is? Yeah. So it looks like, is Garruk...
Garruk is ticking up.
Make a wolf. A wolf of a different color.
I can't imagine... it also has the Gavany Township he could potentially activate. I think I'd go with getting your board presence up in terms of quantity before you make them better quality-wise. I don't even know if I would attack with these spirits as well. I'd rather consider blocking Dan's spirits.
Yeah, I don't mind the attack. And he looks like he's going to pump him. Or he's playing Thragtusk, okay. So he just gets in for 2 with the Spirits and then follows up with a Thragtusk. So,
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of like blocking the Spirits, right? Gain 5, lose 2.
Well, the Spirits are going to be threatening the Garrick.
Fair enough.
As opposed to Marc's life total. Dan's not really a deck that goes after... I mean, neither deck really goes after the life total a ton.
Yeah, not at this stage of the game.
Yeah, so we see Centaur Healer from Dan to embarrassingly stand up to the Thragtusk.
Yeah.
But Flashback Lingering Souls.
So Dan with 4 Spirits.
Yeah, so
2 of which did knock Garrick to 1 counter there.
So Garrick is likely to die in the near future. We see a Woodland Cemetery from Marc. So that means he can both play another Pilgrim and activate Gavany Township. There are 3 Gavany Townships in Marc's deck, so I like that. Clearly showing that he values his utility lands.
Yeah, and it's not only that, like, you know, he's got all these tokens, he has these trumps in the form of intangible virtue, but Gavany Township kind of backs up that plan,
yeah,
where
right.
he's like, I'm gonna, you know, you have Lingering Souls tokens, but so do I.
As it turns out, you don't draw you don't draw intangible virtue every game.
Yeah.
So you like having some redundancy.
Sure.
In that,
yeah.
and when you can get it on a land, even better.
All right, Magic players, good morning. May I have your attention, please?
And Dan's in a real tough spot with the township and a good amount of tokens.
Legacy Open here in Providence, Rhode Island. Before I hand you over to your head judge, I have a few brief announcements. First off, with regard to food and drink,
do you decide maybe double block a Spirit to in case he, you know, just kind of in case he decides to use Township, at least you only trade 1 token, or I mean you trade your tokens for 1, I guess. But
he is.
So Dan's just gonna try to
block
trade
induce
1.
the Gavany Township.
Yeah, kind of make Marc waste his turn, not waste his turn, but spend his turn doing it,
Yeah,
just basically saving a Spirit token,
Right.
and getting in for some extra damage. So Dan's gonna take 4 here, plus the Thragtusk.
I believe it's 10. 2 from the Spirit, 2 from the Wolf, 6 from the Thragtusk.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't count the extra on the Thragtusk for some reason.
All your creatures get bigger, even
Yeah,
the
I
ones
just
that are already really big.
Forgot that
That Arbor Elf also gets bigger.
We will be
If
posting
we
the
can,
pairings for each round of Legacy Open on Twitter. If you wish to follow our Twitter account, it is @SCG Open Pairings.
Alright, so
Again, that is @SCG Open Pairings.
a lot of
I see. So
rearrangement happening here. Oh, he's
in
using
a slightly awkward order, Marc untapped his Temple Garden with Arbor Elf and then sacrificed it to Garrick
to find an Angel of Serenity.
Yeah. So if Dan wasn't in trouble yet, he's even in more trouble now.
All right, players, welcome to the Providence, Rhode Island Star City Games Legacy Open.
So right now, Marc's on 5 lands.
Six.
Okay, there we go. Oh, is it 6?
Yeah, that's the 6th mana
That's
source,
the sixth.
and then there's a 7th in
Okay,
Marc's
so
hand for next
but it's
turn.
5 lands and Abysson's Pilgrim is what he's- okay. Making sure that I'm not missing a land here. So yeah, Marc, I guess what I was getting at before I saw the Abysson's Pilgrim being cast was he must have a plan to get to 7 mana since he just sacrificed one of his accelerators.
His mana sources, yeah.
Tough.
And also know that Dan has 0
0 accelerators and only 5.
0 removal spells as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. And Angel of Serenity is actually really effective against tokens too. You know, we've seen it all weekend. It seems pretty obvious. But the thing is, you know, Angel coming down and saying, "All right, wipe your Lingering Souls. I have a 5/6, and you're not getting anything back." You know, like this is you're not getting your creatures back if you do deal with this Angel.
Right.
Not to say that that's the play, but I just. You know, the fact that there are so many tokens right now on the board, an Angel from either player can actually be more effective against a token than it would against a physical card, right? A real card.
Wow. So Dan getting aggressive.
Hits him with a Centaur Healer and 1 Spirit.
I would imagine that Dan has an Unburial Rights or is really desperate.
All right, judges, can you please
Looks like he's
start
just
the
dropping a land in a play,
list?
tapped, yeah. I think he has a Vault of the Archangel in his hand.
And he also has Restoration, I would imagine. That's the
All
only play that
right,
makes
so
sense.
we have 166 players today, which means we're going to be playing 8 rounds of Swiss and cutting to the top 8. Please remember that this is a competitive event, so please play
Mark,
tight.
figure out
Make
what Dan
sure
is
that you are
up
taking
to.
your time to play correctly.
Yeah, Mark knows Dan's list, so Mark knows that Restoration Angel is a possibility, and he could get ambushed
We will
here.
be enforcing this infraction, so please make sure you are being
Those
careful,
spirits are
but
2/2s, as is the
playing
wolf.
too slowly.
So even an activation of Gavany Township will not take out an opposing Restoration Angel.
The Death Touch.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah, well, the wolf
suffice.
will. I imagine Dan won't throw the angel in front of that
Zach,
one.
Zach, if you're in the room, can you throw your hand up for me, please? Thank
So
you.
he's slow rolling the angel
Robert
a little.
Green.
So he goes ahead and casts an
Robert,
Avacyn's Pilgrim,
and Sam
and then
LaPresse.
swings in with everybody, including the unsick
Thanks, Sam.
Avacyn's Pilgrim from
yeah.
last turn. So Dan Jordan at 9 life right now, potentially 12 if he does have a Restoration Angel, as we suspect.
I see a
You see it,
Restoration
yeah.
Angel.
So for further notice, players,
There it is,
you
okay,
will be
so
playing at the gold
Dan up to
table
12
numbers.
after blinking the Centaur
Towards
Healer,
the front
which
of the
gives
room.
him actually
The
2
gold
blockers
table
and 3
numbers
life.
towards the front of the
So,
room.
you know, pretty strong way to
We will be
defend this
enforcing target
for Dan, which he needs to do, really, in this case. So he's going to put the Centaur Healer in front of the Avacyn's Pilgrim, the Angel in front of one of the spirits. One spirit is just going to chump block the 6/4 Thragtusk. There's Restoration Angel. Avacyn Restored also.
Now,
One of the best
as a
cards out of
reminder,
Avacyn
players,
Restored,
we
I
are
think.
using a
Probably
new trigger
Maybe
policy.
the best, but I mean, you can say something like Entreat the Angels, Terminus,
You should
some of
all
the
know
miracles,
this
right?
miracles.
But as far as like its
you,
interaction and application
please
in
remember
several
that you
decks,
must declare
especially
those
looking back
triggers if you
to old
intend to
standard,
use them.
Restoration
This
Angel. Wow,
includes Exalted
what a card! So we're gonna see Gavany
Bomb.
Township activated. Everybody's getting a little bigger.
and very
I believe one of the,
importantly,
yeah.
counter
So
balance.
a spirit dies
Please
from
make sure that you
from
are, in
combat
fact,
with the Angel.
letting
The
people know that you are going to
Avacyn's
use
Pilgrim
them, or you
dies
will
from
not
combat
have
with
the
the Centaur
opportunity.
Healer. One
Please make sure
of
you're
Dan's
shuffling
spirits dies
thoroughly and
from
playing
chump blocking
fast,
the
and
now
make sure that you are
7/5
communicating
Thragtusk.
clearly with your opponents.
And now Mark's going to pass back.
If at any time during the event you do not think you are doing what
We
you
know
are
Mark
to
has
do,
an Angel of
if you
Serenity
don't
in
think your opponent
hand,
is doing what they
and
need to do,
we know
or
he
you
has
are
the
just
mana to
really
cast it
confused
next
about
turn.
what's going on, please make sure you raise your hand
But first,
high
Dan has an opportunity
and call for a
to
judge
get into this game.
like this. Please make sure you keep your hand high in the air so that we can find you. If we do not see your hand, we will not look for you.
So,
So
Dan
please
on
make sure
6.
you are clear.
Mark's defenses are down. If Dan can find a way to not die,
Yeah.
as like say a Thragtusk or another
Lastly,
Restoration Angel,
as a reminder, we are
Dan
playing
actually has
with
some
the
opportunity to
right
steal this
draw
game.
rule.
Yeah, right now we see a Vault of the Archangel in his hand. But so that would put him on 7 mana, but he's very low on white sources.
I believe so. There's maximum 2,
Yeah, I think I see 2.
and I think it's
And
only 1. I'm not sure though.
I think there's 2 Temple Gardens. I think that's what I think
Might-
it's
yeah.
it's a black green land forest.
Forest,
Temple Garden, Forest, Temple Garden.
Garden.
Yeah. So it looks to me like 2 white
So-
sources right now, and
So while we wait for
he
the
may
cards,
actually have
I
Angel of
just want to
Serenity in
remind
hand as
players
well.
that there are
I thought I saw a
feelings
glimpse
that
of 2
have
white
food
cards
in the
before he
area.
cast that Restoration Angel.
Here, there is a
But,
mall with several different food places in it.
I could be wrong.
As well as across the street, there's
Even
a
so,
wonderful
he'd need
restaurant
another
called
white
Marc's
source. Vault of the Archangel not going to
that
do
we
it.
I highly recommend. They are very close to the venue.
Dan's
You
some
should
fairly
know
complicated
when bringing
attacks.
back so that you are not late for your round.
Yeah, Dan wants to make some dents in Mark's life total,
At this time,
and at the same
players,
time he needs to defend
Harry,
because Mark's
round 1 have
been
now
on the
posted.
aggressive all game.
Please make your way quickly.
So
to
Dan's
your
going
seats,
to
but
go
do
ahead and
not
attack
begin.
with the Centaur Healer and the Restoration Angel. So potentially knocking Marc to 10 here. I believe he actually did knock Marc to 10.
Okay, so
then follows that up with an Avacyn's Pilgrim and plays that Vault of the Archangel. And so if he does indeed have an Angel of Serenity, he may be able to cast it next turn if that Pilgrim sticks around.
yeah.
And we know Marc has the Angel, and so does Dan.
I could imagine that Dan Jordan has another Restoration Angel.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as well, because just the fact that he attacked with both, I think the other Angel that he has, the other white card may just be
realistic alternative would be just an activation of Vault of the Archangel. Would stop a lot of attacks. Vault of the Archangel is actually much better than Gavany Township when
I agree.
when both people have one.
Yeah.
But fortunately for
it's the threat of activation right now that Marc has to worry about.
I believe Marc might be going for his Angel. No, that's a Temple Garden. All right. So if Marc went for his Angel and just wanted to remove the blockers in play, that would force Dan to have basically exactly Restoration Angel number 2.
Yes, exactly.
To
untap the healer and gain
block,
3 and block with the untapped Angel and the healer.
And then another like super interesting game. Standard format, like very interesting board situation for both players.
Yeah,
like both players have like a lot of decisions to make. It's nice to see a standard format where both players have tough decisions to make.
Yeah.
As opposed to like one player or the other might have like a very obvious line.
Yeah.
And then the other player has to try and get out of that. But like both players in this game have many different things they can do. Alright, so Marc's thinking about just paying 2 life, falling to 8.
Yeah, so this means Angel's incoming. Yeah. So he actually takes 2 damage from his Temple Garden, putting it in play on tap.
Right, he wants his Avacyn Pilgrim. Yeah.
And so that's exactly what he's doing. He's got Angel of Serenity. He is removing the 2 spirits and the Avacyn's Pilgrim. So Dan has no blockers, so Dan is forced right now to have Restoration Angel. Pretty much.
And even if he does, it's not the best in the world. Yeah.
There it is, Restoration
One last
Angel.
thing before we begin, players.
And
please make
Blink's going to go up to 9.
And goes up to 9.
However, one of these guys is going to have to block a Thragtusk because the Thragtusk and the Pilgrim would be lethal.
We would like to make sure
so it's going to be Angel on Spirit, I would imagine,
have no obstructions while playing.
And Centaur Healer on Thragtusk.
Yeah, I like that.
That's Dan's only block in this situation.
Right. And on the swing back, he can do 6 to Marc. No, he can't. Sorry, there's an Angel there.
You have 50 minutes. You may begin.
So he can't even swing back.
Yeah. This has been quite a long top 4.
Sure.
Round 1 of Legacy has been
is now starting.
Now starting.
Yeah. So
these guys, still in game 1 of the finals.
Late to their Legacy match then. And Angel in front of Spirit, Centaur Healer in front of Thragtusk, and Dan's gonna fall to 4 here.
The Centaur Healer has gained Dan 9 life.
Seems like a good card. I mean, it needed some Restoration Angel help, but
it had it.
Yeah, that's. It's funny to see a card like that. It's a 3/3 for 3 that gains 3. You know, Healing Salve, so good.
Yeah. That might have been a fantastic draw from Dan.
Didn't quite see it.
Grizzly Salvage.
Okay.
That gives him 5 shots at an Unburial Rights.
And Arbor Elf, Grizzly Salvage, Sunpetal Grove, Angel of Serenity, Avacyn's Pilgrim, no Unburial Rights.
He will take the Angel, I believe. He is still a white mana source short.
And he plays a Gavany Township of his own.
Wow, that's... Woo. Alright, so, that's actually pretty decent. The Gavany Township means Marc is forced to block. And then a Vault of the Archangel activation means that Dan is going to gain 8 life, go up to 12, and get his Avacyn's Pilgrim back. So that'll provide a very important either chump blocker or white mana source, depending on
8 life or 6?
6. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Goes
Yeah,
to 10.
I thought I missed something.
I thought, yeah, you can't activate both Gavany Township and
Yeah, that would have been pretty
Vulture.
sick. But still, a pretty neat, decent swing there. So
Yeah.
he does, in fact, activate the vault, goes up to 10, takes care of the opposing Angel of Serenity, and now Marc Blesso at 5 life, Dan Jordan at 10. Marc with a lot of power on the board right now, especially on that Thragtusk, which is a 7/5.
Yeah, Dan's not going to be too happy to see the Lingering Souls in Marc's hand. That's a huge card right now.
Marc trying to decide how he wants to do this because
I believe if he drew a land, he can play 1/2 of Lingering Souls and activate Township. But I actually think the correct play is just to cast both halves of Lingering Souls and then save a Township activation for next turn.
yeah, so obviously Pilgrim gets in front of Thragtusk, and Dan's going to take either 5 or 7, depending
I believe
on...
he's going to take 5.
Yeah.
And Marc's going to cast his backbreaking Lingering Souls.
And that looks like the play. So Marc deals 5 to Dan, both players at 5 life, and then adds 4 tokens to the board, both sides of a Lingering Souls.
Dan draws a forest, not a white mana source, so I don't believe he can cast the Angel.
Yeah, he's got to
So
scoop him
Dan's
up.
gonna
So
scoop him up.
after a tense game 1, Dan Jordan falls to Marc Blesso, and we're going to game 2 here in the finals of the StarCityGames.com Standard Open in Providence, Rhode Island. So in the meantime, while we wait, we have some SCG Premium to give away.
How much?
1 year of
A
SCG
whole
Premium.
year.
So we're going to ask you guys a trivia question, and you guys will tweet your answer. If you want to participate, you can tweet your answer with the hashtag SCG Premium down there. Your answer, hashtag, that's all you need. You tweet it, and we'll see it. If it's a correct answer, you are in the running to win a year of premium. And that's all the way into the next set. I mean, what the set that's going to push
block.
that's what I mean. I'm sorry, next block. That's
Yeah.
going to push Innistrad out of the format.
That's a lot of premium.
That is a lot of premium.
You can
We're
read
gonna be reading
all the sweet articles by
Chapin,
Patrick
Flores,
Chapin,
Kibler,
Jerry Thompson,
Brian
yeah. Kibler, a whole bunch of other people.
So many good articles out there. So let's see. What kind of question do we want to ask?
I can get another question.
One?
Yeah.
I had one and I didn't write it down. And
Oh.
that was a misplay.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was a misplay because I don't
Alright.
remember what it was now.
So the same person won Standard Opens in the Northeast, Star City Opens in Boston, 2 years running.
No, 2 consecutive SCG Boston events.
Yes.
One in 2010 and one in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Also made an appearance in this tournament.
Has been
on camera.
Also played in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to tweet your answers to hashtag SCG Premium,
yeah,
we'll give you a full year of premium if you are both correct and lucky enough to be selected.
Yes, one random winner will random correct answer will be the winner. So, who won 2 consecutive SCG Boston Opens? And we'll even go further. We'll say this person top 8'd.
Wow.
So
there were Standard Opens as well.
Yes, Standard Opens. Yes. So, in fact, I believe they used Rug to win both of those Boston Opens. If you just want a further hint. In fact, you know what's funny is that was one of my questions that I had yesterday and didn't write down.
Okay.
so good picking that up.
Yeah. So we have our players.
There's Dan Jordan
on the right and Marc Blesso on the left.
Yeah.
What kind of sideboarding do you expect?
I would shuffle 15 in and just take 15 out.
A good strategy. Which 15 would you take out?
That's a good question. So, all right, let's
for Marc. Let's start with Marc. You see his sideboard up on your screen. You would have to imagine this is like one of those long grindy matchups
You want more
you
angels.
want more angels.
I agree.
In addition, Deathrite Shaman
Yeah.
seems to be a fantastic card.
Just shuts down the Unburial Rites kind of action of Dan's deck, and can be a mana accelerant, but unlikely to be. In Mark's deck, he's not dumping lands into the graveyard with Mulch or Grizzly Salvage or anything, so he's not milling anything like that.
In
so he's
addition,
not gonna be doing that.
Brains.
Yeah, he's got 2 copies of
More
Appetite for Brains, as you can see there. And, yeah, again, I hear Angel of Serenity's brains are delicious. Delectable.
Have not had them myself.
No, not me neither. I think they're a delicacy here in Providence. And I believe Mark may have an appetite for them. He may have 2 appetites for them.
Yeah. Dan, on the other hand, basically he also has access to additional Deathrite Shamans.
Sure.
But may not be as good for him.
Right.
Mark does not play with his graveyard as much, as Dan is far more reliant on his graveyard.
Yeah, being able to handle the Lingering Souls early in that game was pretty cool. You know, pretty nice interaction.
But that's the only card that flashes back.
Yeah, that's not.
Or interacts
not really
with
much
the graveyard.
More. I mean,
really,
the Deathrite Shamans on Mark's end are better. Just
much
because
better than Dan's.
not only
yes.
does he have Unburial Rites, but he's got Lingering Souls of his own, and of course.
Mulch and Grizzly Salvage keep up a fairly stocked graveyard.
Right, and you can remove any angels in there just to shut off the front side of Unburial Rites.
The card I really like in Dan's deck in this matchup is Divine Reckoning.
Yeah.
This might be like tailor-made. If you could keep 1 creature in play, and it makes the angels even more important for Mark.
Yeah, basically he says, you know, it's getting too complicated in here, it's all muddied up.
Yeah.
Why don't we just take our 2 best creatures and bash them against each other?
Right.
Lucky for Dan, he can see the creatures on the other side of the board and decide whether or not it's a good idea for his best creature to match up with Mark's best creature. But
even then, like, if Dan Jordan had a Divine Reckoning during that game, the whole context of the game shifts.
Oh yeah, because Mark's left with basically tokens most of the time, and Dan, you know, in most of those situations, Dan had, you know, Restoration Angels and Centaur Healers.
Even if Marks were bigger, it just gives them like the time to buys them a bunch of time.
Absolutely, yeah. Dan was in that game. It wasn't. It was actually pretty.
And even
close.
though Mark had an overwhelming number of creatures throughout the game.
Yeah, if you weren't looking at life totals and you were just looking at the board, it looks like Mark is just running Dan over. But Dan
did an
actually
excellent job,
had Mark down to 5 life, and it was only a factor of Dan not having a third white source, because we believe he did have an angel in his hand.
He Grizzly Salvaged it.
Oh, that's right, yeah. He definitely had an angel.
Yeah.
So, and he also did not draw an Unburial Rites because he had 1 in the yard too. He had, you know, an angel available in the graveyard. So there were a number of things Dan could have hit to really swing that game. And,
I thought if Dan hit an Unburial Rites off his Grizzly Salvage, I believe he wins that game.
Yeah. So
it looks like Dan's taking a mulligan, and Mark is the gentleman that he is joining him to Mulligan Town.
So yeah, I do like that the Divine Reckonings, as you mentioned, 2 copies of that, and that's essentially 4 because you can count the flashback if it goes real late.
Even more if you can mulch it or Grizzly Salvage it.
Yeah, nice way to draw it without drawing it. Now he does have those abrupt decays, and I keep looking at them because you know, it's a new card, it's flashy. I'm like, ooh, good fast removal. It still doesn't seem good here.
It doesn't kill that much.
It takes out intangible virtue.
Kill more in a few short hours.
Yeah, we may be seeing some more of that in Legacy. I mean, however, I do think it's better in this matchup than it was against the Zombies matchup where we talked about it before.
Yeah,
here he's got access to hitting.
When Mug creatures die, you put them in the graveyard.
Yeah,
as opposed to the zombies.
Or just they go away entirely because they're tokens. But it
also
also hits
on a token is not. It does hit intangible virtue.
That's what I'm really looking at. Is intangible virtue is one that he may really want to hit.
It can also potentially keep
flip side of Garrick.
Some mana. Oh, flip side of Garrick.
Takes out a Planeswalker. So
Garrick is a huge card in this matchup.
And it's easy, quote unquote easy to get Garrick to flip to the side where he has no mana cost. So because I feel like whenever I see Garrick, it's almost immediate. He's almost immediately flipping within one cycle of turns, and that opens him up to abrupt decay. So it's something that I could see happening.
We see Dan going to 5 cards. So likely needing a Mulch or Grizzly Savage field card advantage to bring him out of this mold of 5. I believe Marc is keeping. Not quite the gentleman he was 1 mulligan ago.
Yeah, Dan being down a game, it's almost like you're kind of more incentivized to mulligan. Because you can't just lean back and be like, well, I'm up a game if this hand isn't great. I have a whole game of space to play with here.
Well, that's just a mental thing, not a strategic thing. If you're following like proper strategy,
you should mulligan when you need to mulligan.
Right. The fact that you're up a game or down a game or anything like that, the game count is not important when making strategic decisions. But like, Magic is a game played by humans with emotions.
Exactly. And so there are going to be
a lot of times it does, yeah.
When you're like, I have 2 lands, 5 spells. If I draw a 3rd land, this will be great.
Yeah.
I'm up a game, keep. Right. That like factors in. You're like, I'm up a game, keep. Right. And then you're like, but you go, I'm down a game. I'm in a mulligan. Like it actually, like you're saying it shouldn't matter, but a lot of times I think it will.
Does. Yeah.
And I agree with you. It shouldn't matter. If you need to mulligan, you need to mulligan. You're trying to win the game, not trying to give one away. You're not trying to go to game 3.
So we started with 351 players yesterday.
Yeah, down to 2.
We're down to 2. And I believe in the meantime, Dan has drawn his 5 cards and instantly shifted back in card of 4.
That's rough. And again, I cite the fact that, as we were saying before this match, we saw some rough starts from Dan. We've seen him lose a game very quickly because he doesn't have a great opener. He's keeping low land counts and accelerators, and the accelerators being dealt with. I don't know if that's the case here, but I wonder if that's a big weakness of this deck, because that's what it seems like. That's the major weakness I've seen in it this weekend. So
Deathrite Shaman comes down for Marc, and Dan's not playing into it. You can have it. I'm just not going to play anything. All right, let's go for some
Appetite
brains.
for brains, and
Angel,
there's a Thragtusk.
Forest. Pretty good 4-card hand, if I may say so myself.
Yeah, I'd say so. And it's rough getting hit with a discard spell,
especially a second one. There's another Appetite.
Oh, jeez.
In Marc's hand.
Yeah, I just mulliganed to 4, and you just made me discard the best card in my hand, and about to hit me with another discard spell. I think that really seals it for Marc. I mean, I don't know.
Provided, yeah.
I mean, Marc has to put some pressure on Marc. He just stripping.
He doesn't have a 3rd land.
Well, and I believe he's getting hungry again. I think he's got his appetite. Show me Thragtusk, sever the bloodline. What do I take? I guess I take the Thragtusk. I mean, I know the Sever's kind of good, but I think you take the Thragtusk every time there. And we've drawn an Avacyn's Pilgrim, says Dan. So
Dan actually has more mana source, and here comes lane number 3 right on time, and Borderland Ranger and
Centaur Healer there. Or that's Sorin.
I believe that is Sorin, the Lord of Innistrad.
Marc does have Centaur Healers in the sideboard. Not sure that he brought them in, but Borderland Ranger will find a 4th land, and Marc will be able to cast his Sorin next turn, or his Garrick Relentless. So he's got 2 Planeswalkers in hand.
Yeah, this should lock the game up.
Dan's going to go ahead and just sever the Deathrite Shaman. really just needs to try to get a foothold into this game, and it's not looking good for him. If you're just joining us, I'm Joey Pasco in the booth with Adam Prozac, and we're bringing you guys coverage of the finals, Game 2 of the finals of the Standard Open here in Providence, Rhode Island. And Marc Blesso up a game against Dan Jordan and up several cards.
I don't like that play from Marc. I don't think it'll matter, but if that's a Garrick in Marc's hand, not casting Garrick is a huge mistake.
That's definitely a Garrick. So Dan Jordan mulligans to 4, then gets hit by 2 Appetite for Brains to take away his 2 best cards that he was left with, a Thragtusk and a Restoration Angel. Dan, trying to stay in the game, has 2 copies of Avacyn's Pilgrim in play, but Marc has a loaded grip with 2 Planeswalkers, one of which Sorin, Lord of Innistrad, just hit the board alongside 2 copies of Lingering Souls and a Borderland Ranger. And it's looking grim.
Emblem time.
And there's an emblem, the Sorin emblem. Wow, ultimate right away, huh?
Yeah.
Just kidding. Seems like emblems only show up with ultimates, but Sorin is an exception to that. So here comes some Lingering Souls.
Yeah, this is crazy. If yeah, Marc just
and a
threw
Borderland
away
Ranger.
his Sorin. So I mean, Dan can legitimately win this game still.
Yeah,
which is
gonna
crazy.
Go ahead and kill the Sorin
Kill
here.
the Sorin for free. Like if he draws, yeah, there you go.
And there's a Thragtusk. So
Dan's
Jordan
actually in this game.
is in this game. Went down to 8 life, now it's going up to 13. Has a Vault of the Archangel, a Thragtusk,
Yeah, I think
and 2 Avacyn's Pilgrims in play.
I think Marc's play is atrocious in this game. Like he was, like obviously Dan's on 4 cards.
And you just stripped him of his 2 best.
Right, so he's on 2 cards basically, and his draw steps. And Marc did not basically took his foot off Dan's throat. He did not play Garrick to kill his guy, and then he allowed Dan to attack Marc's Sorin. And so now Marc's got a game on his hands. Let's see if I mean, I still think Marc's in the driver's seat, playing a Arbor Elf and likely a Garrick Relentless.
Yeah, we see he's got Angel of Serenity available,
but now it could be one of those times where you go into wolf making mode.
Sure. Yeah,
with
I mean he
Garrick.
doesn't need to do the Angel of Serenity considering his situation right now, but he's going to go ahead and get in with his guys again, I believe. At least that's what it looks like. So just the spirits coming over.
Dan Jordan falls to 9 because of the Sorin emblem.
Yeah, Sorin emblem up there in the shadow of the
Alright, so we're gonna go to Lingering Soulsville.
More spirits lingering, and Dan's still behind, but has not anywhere near as far behind as Marc
was. Yeah.
Marc had a huge head start.
Oh, here we go.
And,
if this is
Grizzly
like Grizzly
Salvage.
Salvage into Angel or something like that, it is not. It's a terrible Grizzly Salvage. So Dan's
found him Borderland Rangers some
continuing
lands.
continuing out. I think he takes Borderland Ranger here. Yeah, Borderland taking. I mean, basically, you could take Borderland Ranger or land. He cannot take the Grizzly Salvage.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's another Grizzly Salvage.
Yeah, you can only take lands or creatures,
right?
With Grizzly Salvage. So, I'd imagine he can have a 2/2 in a land or just a land. So he might want an untapped land actually. If he takes the plains, he could attack with Thragtusk and activate his Vault of the Archangel.
Yeah.
So that might be
Which
what he's thinking about.
I like that actually. Yeah.
I'd probably go with the Borderland
Plain.
Ranger.
And plains or just the Ranger?
Yeah, Borderland Ranger and play it, and then
So don't activate Vault.
right, he gets to choose between Borderland Ranger and activating Vault this turn. Oh, the other thing he could have done. Oh, he can get a swamp with this. He should play the Borderland Ranger, get a swamp, and that he has Sever the Bloodline in his graveyard.
Oh wow, and that will be huge.
That would be huge because he has a Overgrown Tomb.
Yeah, so there's the Borderland Ranger, and there's the swamp.
Yeah. So He's gonna fall to 1, which is obviously not ideal, but 1 is more than 0.
No Gavany Townships there for Mark. Lucky for Dan.
Yeah. Somehow this turned into a game.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, again, like you said, still ahead, but if Dan can get out of this
Also,
turn alive.
I believe it's 6. So if Dan uses his Garuk to fight Avacyn's Pilgrim,
Yeah.
not only will he have a flip Garruk in play that can't be attacked, but Dan Jordan will have to rip a land that does not cost him 2 life in order to play his Sever.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to do that. I mean, you've got that Garruk there, and this is what it looks like is happening. So,
Yeah.
Garruk comes down, and he is he ticking up? No, okay, good.
Yeah.
Ticking.
You can't tick up.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
You can tick up now.
Yeah. I think I said tick up, thinking other ability.
Yeah.
You know, like.
They play the 0 ability.
Yeah. So. There goes the
Doesn't
Avacyn's
matter.
Pilgrim,
So
and
these
Dan
should all
now.
come in. Borderland Rangers should probably come in as well. That'll force Borderland Rangers would trade. I'm not sure if that's what Mark would want, but here it comes.
Yeah, so 4 Spirits and a Borderland Ranger coming in. And that is, so Dan's going to go ahead and chump with the Thragtusk and get a Beast. Take 8, go to 1. It's getting scary. And there's an Avacyn's Pilgrim from Mark.
That's even, yeah.
Dan Jordan at 1 life here in the finals of StarCityGames.com Open Series in Providence, and Marc Blesso takes it down 2 games to 1 over Dan Jordan.
So Dan Jordan can lose in these tournaments.
He can. He must need to be in Boston.
Yeah.
Or,
not quite in Boston.
Extra. But I mean, you know, just that extra push of being in Boston, probably he would have.
If this tournament was in Boston,
he would have hit the land.
Yeah, he would have hit the land.
Or he just wouldn't have mulliganed to 4.
That's true.
Maybe had better openers. But,
well,
wow.
congratulations to Marc Blesso.
Yeah.
Takes a nice junk tokens deck. Not a deck on my radar.
No, so yeah, I mean, we've been saying a couple times this weekend, and people said it before.